And welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for episode 5 Unsung. Where we're gonna win. We're gonna win against worms. With me today here is Johnny, the video store cowboy, Sam, the wizened fool, Chelsea, little red dot, and John Helfers, one of the creators of this game. So let's. With that being said, guys, if you want to interact with this game, like our good friend Hobo Joe did offline, throwing a donation, check the donation section down below for all the fun things you can donate for. And let's jump right into things. Johnny, I believe you have a recap to read. Let's hear it.
What's the title of this episode again?
It's called A New Can of Worms is what it's called.
It's not just a can of worms, it's a new can of worms.
Can of worms, yeah.
Brand.
All right, great qualifier, guys.
New and improved can of worms.
The new improved trademark can of worms.
Yeah. Yep. Acme new can of worms.
Can I buy these on the market?
Yes.
Nailed it. All right, guys, here we go. Previously on Unsung. Having just defeated the Houndmaster and his pets, the group escapes from Hacksaw Bridge to Starlight Commons to meet with their employer, Kendrick Maddox. They find him standing under the failing hearth crystal at the center of Gelspar, surrounded by his house guard and the shadowy chasers he's paid to protect the Commons. The group engages Maddox in an attempt to learn as much as possible about their mysterious job to save Gelspar from falling. The job appears simple. Journey to the northern Azure via an airship and retrieve a new hearth crystal. The new crystal will replace the one failing at the heart of Gelspar. The group questions Maddox's information and his motives, only to find his answers evasive. He claims to know little about the actual location of the crystal and appears reluctantly willing to accept the role of savior of the downtrodden district. When confronted with his political aspirations, he deflects and sends the group on their way. An airship is waiting for them at the Port of Dreams. The group makes their way to a sky elevator, a form of transportation to take them from the floating district of Gelspar to the floating island of Silver Glades. The quickest way to the Port of Dreams is through the Glades, but it is not without its peril. During the ascent of the elevator, the group has a moment to reflect on the current situation. When they arrive in the Glades, they find rift mages working around the loading dock at the elevator. One of the mages challenges the group, but finds Nalos unfazed by her warnings. Convincing the rest of the mages that the fight isn't what they want, the group engages with a single mage and her summoned slither spines. The group immediately defeats one and severely damages another, forcing the lone mage to implore her companions for help. And we fade in with another mage summoning a slither spine and joining the fight. So guys, what do you want to do?
So I just need to go before the slither spines so that I can keep sustaining my tide turner. Other than that, it doesn't matter when red goes.
Is it the top of the order? Is that what
they go
at the top of the order?
They're elite foes, right?
They are awakened foes.
Okay.
Now, Nalos, your convincing job works well on the rift mages. Surely you can convince these slither spines to stand down too. Sure.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
the rift mages came back.
Well, one did. One's still out of the fight. One's still like cowering like a baby.
Well, we could do Nalos, Talon, grunt foes, and then red, and then cat bad again. That's what we did last time, isn't it?
I did.
Pretty
That's
much.
what it looks like.
Yeah, I believe that is true.
Yeah. Would you just keep the same order, basically? Don't forget, Nalos, you have 1d6 health added when you take damage.
Yeah.
And Talon, you have a +1 damage die for your next roll, too. I made note of it in roll 20.
you're so nice, Dot. I really appreciate you being so nice. Now, damn it, somebody do some damage to this thing.
So we can get past this slither spine. There appears to be some kind of door situation over here, right?
Okay,
next to
so
the spiritualist, is that what that is? Is that?
So the three of you, are sort of at the edge of the platform, and there is this gangway, sort of leading down from the edge of the platform, and it's about 20 feet on the way down. This slither spine is sort of at the top of it and takes up that large space. And basically, it's not just like one big massive like circle of a body. It's actually coiled in such a way that the way it's standing, and so it's coiled in those 4 squares. But there is a way down next to it. So I believe that's red right here. Red could sneak past, but then there's there's debris and other parts missing. So it would be really hard for either Cathbad or Red to kind of sneak down that way without there being some difficulty in them trying to get to the bottom.
And to be clear, this is a pretty big drop, right? You said like 20 feet.
Yeah, it's a 20-foot drop.
Now, I know from the previous combat that Cathbad has a bunch of ranged magical abilities. Is that correct, Dot? Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm going to use my tactician mindset and see that Talon is way far in the back of this formation, and you seem to be relatively well off in the ability to shoot people in the face. So you're getting a whole bunch of abilities. So that's what I'm going to do for you. Let's see here. So as a free action, your first fast is a free.
Yes.
So
yes.
You're also going to get your next slow is a fast.
Okay, so it basically shortens to act one. Okay, got it.
Yep. So you can either make a slow action as a completely free action or separate those into two different things, right? And then
I think those actually, like, not to Rose lawyer here, but I think those have to stick on the actions that she chooses. I don't think you can combo those. I have to check on that.
Well, so the wording is specifically says the next slow action used is a fast action, and then it says the first fast action is free. So I guess if your first action is slow, it could stack. If you do it in the
you are correct. You're correct. Never mind. Yep. Cheerfully withdrawn. Go ahead. Proceed.
I see. Okay.
I am going to do a decisive blow on mage number 2, the one who seems to be in charge here. Johnny, for you, that gives that person fragility.
Mage number 2 is getting fragility, you said?
Fragility, yeah. The one who seems to be in charge of this shit show.
Nice.
And let's see here. I think no one else has conditions, right? No one has anything against them?
Players? Are you talking about players, or are you talking about
players? No one has anything against them. Perfect. Then in that case, with his attack, I'm going to attempt to throw a dagger through, or a throwing knife, like past the coils of this snake into the female mage here. And as he does so, almost not even looking, he kind of throws it through the coils of this snake, and he glances over at Cathbad, pointing in the direction he throws, and says, "Take that one. It leads against your land," as he throws this dagger through. And yeah, I'm going to give you a roll here. Is this D20 / D20? Bam! That's not a crit, but it is accurate and piercing. So you're going to get /R2d6.
Good way to start the session.
Yeah, 4 points of damage against number 2 from my dagger, and I'm going to hold one of my fast actions.
Okay, so the blades, kind of stings past and kind of, nicks her on her shoulder, and she's already hurting pretty bad from the previous round of combat. And so at this point, she looks like she's on her last legs, and she's just kind of yelled out to her companion, who is there to now moving in to sort of help her. And that's, you're completely done with your turn? Okay. All right. So stepping into this situation is the new sort of Rift Mage, standing off to the side and moving in, and he is right here moving forward.
Okay.
And what he's going to do is, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to point his staff towards Slither Spine number 1, good old boy here, and you see some magic sort of hit out towards him. And I'm waiting for Sam to speak up, because what's going to happen is that Slither Spine is going to heal.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
I'm just waiting.
No, I'm not going to, because I can chain the 2 things on the Slither Spine, and then we can just kill the mages while they're trying to heal the thing, and we've got it CC'd.
Okay, sure. Let's see what happens with that. All right, so
we'll see. It might not work. I don't know.
For his first ability, he just kind of fires off something with what's called Dew from Beyond, and it just, this sort of miasmic energy just flows out and splashes on the thing as it starts to heal a little bit, and you see some of the crystals begin to kind of form back, but it's not completely sort of healed from the previous part of the fight. So. with that, he's continuing his move, forward as he's doing this, and with his second one, fires an attack towards Red with what's called Dazing Bolt, and you're going to need to give me a dodge.
All right. My dodge is 8. Come on. Let's do it. 13 is not an 8. Yeah, it's not going to help me.
Okay, so he's going to do 1d10 plus 10. So what's your toughness?
I thought this is this one against resistance? I think I got hit by this last time.
No, this is against your toughness.
Bummer. Toughness is 4.
All right. And you're going to take 12 points of damage. And so as he kind of swings around for the second, move with his staff, he does it in such a way that it seems like this energy comes from the other side of the staff and it comes flying out towards you and just sort of splashes all over you for 12 points of damage. All right. So the second mage number 2, who's really hurting badly, looks over at the other one, looks at mage 3, this guy right here, and he is just continuing to move, and he's made his way towards the edge and is sort of hiding towards the edge as he's trying to figure out what's going to happen here. And basically, I'm just going to move him back behind this tree. And she sneers at him and yells something guttural, and then immediately launches into an attack, firing the same sort of energy, the Dazing Bolt at Nalos. So go ahead and roll me your dodge there, buddy.
My dodge is super low, right? Yeah, super low. That hits. Oh, wow. Barely, but it hits.
Wow. Okay. So it just sort of, you're able to kind of move and anticipate at the last second. It's almost like she's reacting in such a way, though, because she again fires a second.
No, that hits.
Oh, I'm sorry. That hit?
Yeah. It just barely hits.
Okay.
But it hits.
My bad. So you've got a toughness of 9?
Toughness of 11.
11. All right. Well, this isn't looking it's not too terribly bad for her. She hits you with 8 points.
Oh, no.
All right. And it sort of splashes and begins to sort of crackle all over you. As you're feeling this sort of dance, of energy just kind of play across your skin as she fires another one.
Now I'm only at 42 health.
Aww.
Wow. Come on. Really? That hits also. Like my my thing is a 4. I mean,
at least I'm rolling decently for some damage. I'm gonna take it down a notch, but not really do much more beyond that. As the energy sort of plows across you again, and you take another 9 points of damage.
It's okay. I'm still above half health. We're fine.
And so that energy starts to play across as Talon. You realize that you're able to kind of move away from the carcass of that first slither spine, of which you've just devastated, and move into range for the second one. What are you going to do?
Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's me, isn't it? Yeah.
That is you, John. That is you.
It is moi. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Well, it's time to bolster the line here. 1, 2, 3. All right. So it's going to be a slow, unfortunately. Which leaves me with not a ton of. But I will. I guess we'll just do the old bone shatter. Yeah. Let's give that a shot. So that's a cap. The classic cap check, I will say. And that's a 9, and that is penetration. Very good. And because it's penetrating, I actually do 1.5 damage on this attack. So
Interesting.
Gonna have to do some math here, unfortunately. Let's see. That's heavy grip and bone shatter. So let's see. First of all, let's do the dice. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. 28 plus the D12 that she gave me for, so 28.
Yep.
29. 45 points of damage on number 1. And he strides over 3 great strides, bringing his sword, cocking it back, and as he steps in beside Nalos, swings it down crosswise and just slashes the thing from where its shoulder would be to where its hip would be, basically, but it's just a bunch of chattering limbs and stuff. And just, yeah.
And that's the end of your turn?
I am done, yes.
Okay.
Is that not enough, Johnny? Are you not entertained?
I am not entertained enough. Seriously, I really am not. But you know what? I'm gonna let good old Nalos there roll for his heals, as he's just pointing out to us privately, so we can get that sort of in the mix as well. But you do serious damage to that slither spine. I just want you to know it looks like it's pretty bad because it's got a huge gash sort of down like the length of the body that you can see, but it's still not out yet. Anyways,
okay. So, quick mechanics question. For sustain effect, do you spend the action again?
Nope. Once you have spent it to establish the spell, sustaining is free.
Okay, so we have an order question here, and I'm sorry for bogging down the game, but with this spell, once I use it, I cannot cast spells again until the start of my next turn. Does the sustain thing happen first, or can I activate my sustain spell at the end so that I can cast spells before?
A sustain spell is already cast, so don't worry about it. Sustain remains.
So, according to the character sheet, if you look at the character sheet, at the bottom it says your turns, restore your action pool, then select your sustains, then use your action, then use up your action pool or for action. So yeah, your sustain just maintains itself.
Okay, so I can't cast spells right now. Cool.
Yes.
Okay,
that is correct.
That is not a problem. All right, so
I'm glad you think so. I don't know. I tend to think it's a little bit of a problem, but if you're good, you're good. We're all good.
The things that I wanted to do don't require it. So
okay, excellent.
All right. So I am going to first use the spirit track. So the sustain happens. Then I will use a Kie strike against mage number 2. So Red thrusts out with his spear, past the slithering. It's like got like crystals and centipede all together, if I recall correctly. So it's he kind of ducks past and thrusts out his spear to strike at mage number 2 here. Now my penetration is increased temporarily to 10 because of my special will ability, but it doesn't matter because I miss.
Okay.
Nope.
Cool. Well, I guess I'll try that again.
With that first attack, the attack goes out and she sort of stumbles to the side mistakenly, and it's sort of like a drunken master kind of a move. And with that second one, she just kind of squeezes to the other side as that attack comes down again, missing both times. I'm really sorry, Red. That was brutal. Yeah, that was harsh.
It's tough first round.
It's okay. I still my best stuff is free actions that happen when the other guy goes, so it's okay.
Well,
much to Johnny's dismay.
At least you're very clear about what you can do. All right.
I do my best fighting when it's not my turn.
That's a quote. All right.
Yeah, that should be one for Red, absolutely.
So, Slither Spine number 3, our good buddy over here, is moving in, for combat. And so the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to move. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and sort of try to come into range here. It's a little bit.
Oh, it's so crowded. So crowded over here.
It is a little crowded.
Locking us in.
Not for long.
Okay. And doesn't do anything else at that point.
That's terrifying.
While Slither Spine number 1 moves in for the attack on.
It does do something.
Or sorry, well, that's number 3 as listed on the screen. Number 1 moves in for the attack and attempts to grab Nalos with limb cage. So please roll your dodge, sir, because as you see, this worm is starting to come. This centipede is coming forward with all of its arms and just kind of grabbing for you.
Go for it.
And you miss, and it's going to do 1d10 plus 5 versus your toughness, which is 9, correct?
11.
Or 11. Sorry, I keep thinking it's 9. I apologize, buddy. I'm trying.
He's like
I am
the
a beef.
walking version of a tank.
I am a beef.
Literally. Yep.
All right, do me a favor. Give me a looks like a willpower check.
A willpower check. Okay.
Ooh.
And take
Also-
3 points of damage.
Also a fail from willpower.
So as it kind of leans in and grabs you, you get encompassed in all of these various sort of limbs that are sort of chittering on it as it kind of grabs, and you begin to feel the tickle of all these things as it holds onto you. You now have 5 stacks of paralysis on you.
Oh.
Well, shit.
Well,
What does
shit,
that
how?
mean?
So I'm so glad you asked there, Dot. Cathbad. Let me answer for you. Combatant takes 1 action during their next turn. Paralysis is removed at the end of that turn.
Well,
So he can't move?
He can only do 1 thing, and then he gets away.
he gets 1 action, 1 fast action, 1 slow action, but only 1 action for the.
Yeah, there is no specification for the action, but it is an action. So
I probably should have stopped that one. That's my bad.
That's all good. No, that's all good. That makes the most narrative sense, right? Like, I am commanding the field, and I am literally blocking them from getting into this room where you guys are. So, like, it makes sense for them to go for me. So I'm totally cool with that.
Okay.
And so the second thing that good old Slither Spine does is as it's got now sort of encapsulated in its legs there, it kind of leans in and makes an attack for Talon. I would like to see you roll a dodge roll, please, because it's going to be grappling barb.
I'd like to see one, but whether I'm going to make it or not is another story.
Faith, we have faith.
Nope.
Damn.
Okay,
All right.
so 1d10. What's your toughness?
No, sir. 8. My new toughness is 8 at tier 2. Delightful.
How about taking 5 points of damage there for me?
All day long. Yep.
So I have a quick question for you, John. This is actually something interesting I haven't seen before. It says hero is to move a square adjacent to the Slither Spine when this happens. You are already adjacent to it at this point.
Yeah, I can't get much more adjacent to it, so I'm just going to stay where I am.
I'm just being very clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I was further away, I'm sure you would then pull me in, but of course that's not happening. Which,
Absolutely.
To be honest, if I'd been like back here, it would have been really cool if you like pulled me through them like 10 pings. Like, that would have been hilarious.
That would have been kind of cool.
Anyways, okay. And interesting.
And he's going to do that again.
All right, this one's the one I'm going to stop.
No, go ahead. Just do it. No, don't.
No, because I have to stop one of this guy's actions.
Oh, okay. All right.
So again, it like moves to attack, and that like strange like fog seems to coalesce a little bit more, and like whatever it's doing, it like just is sort of like absorbed and dissipated by the fog.
Yeah, it's interesting because as it moves in to make that attack, and that fog just sort of comes in, when it actually rears back, it looks like the thing has actually like it feels satisfied in making its attack, but it never actually happened. And so that means that we move to Cathbad. Cathbad, bottom of the order. What do you want to do?
Okay. All right. Who looks via sight? Who looks pretty injured? Just for my knowledge, before I start taking action.
I believe Nalos is the most injured.
Yeah.
Now, are you in bad shape?
I don't know if that's true.
Oh.
I
Okay.
have 38,
You are the most injured.
I have 38 out of 56.
Okay, but you don't look like you're okay. That's fine. Okay. All right, so I'm going to use this super cool thing to take a slow action that becomes a fast action that becomes a free action. Is that my understanding?
Yep.
Yep.
Right. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to cast Windwalker on Talon, which adds 2 additional squares to movement for you.
Nice.
For your move action.
That's sweet.
Okay, so you take that. That becomes free. All right. Then I'm going to cast Healing Factor on myself because we learned that it can only be a self thing. So just in case Squishy Bags McGee here gets damaged, I'm going to take 1d6 healing. Then I'm going to take another free action. I'm going to cast Wild Spring this time around on Talon again. So you get another extra damage die, hopefully for more than 1 point. All right, those are all my free things.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to start taking slow action. So, question, does sustain stuff from last week sustain this week? Because it was sustaining. I just want to make sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay, so Moonbite was sustained from last game. So that would be 1d10 piercing to all the foes, to 3 of them. So in this case, the original 3 were this guy, this guy, and this guy? Because this guy wasn't here yet. Number 3 wasn't there yet, right?
Yes, but did you actually target number 1 as a part of that original attack, or was it on number 2?
Well, it hits 3 targets.
Well, there was the 2 Slaughter Spines and the 1 guy, right? Because the other 2 weren't in combat yet. Or do you get to choose the targets every turn?
That it does not say. It just says sustained effect repeat. So
I'm okay with it transitioning to the new Rift Mage as a part of the since that was still in your visible sight. So I don't have a problem with that. I just think that from a clarification standpoint, it might get interpreted as 2 being the second Slither Spine being one of the.
Well, yeah, I don't think it would hit the new Slither Spine, or I guess number 3. But I want to think I hit the first Slither Spine and at least one of the other guys last time. But
you're gonna hit both Rift Mages that are causing problems,
right?
And the first Slither Spine. Okay, so how much damage?
So first off, I got to roll for accuracy. I don't make it.
Yikes.
So I don't.
Rolls are not going well so far.
They are not going well tonight. Oh, wait a second. No, I don't roll for that because it was sustained.
Exactly.
That's right.
Duh, yeah. Chelsea. So it does just hit. So all I got to roll is the damage. Let's try that again. So they all take a D10 worth. So 8. So they can go ahead and take 8 points, and then.
Hold on. I'd like you to describe to me what happens when this spell fires off as a sustain and kills number 2.
So it's called, I guess it's called Moonbeam or Moon something. I call it Moonbite. So I suspect like Cathbad has like her scary staff made of the spine of some critter, raised high in the air, and there's just like this. It's almost like dense white moonlight, even if it's the middle of the day, that just like beams out of the sky, bouncing off of her staff and piercing all 3 of these with this like just rigid white light as they take D10 piercing.
That being said,
and so what does it look like? Oh, say what?
You killed one of them, right?
I was just going to say, what does that look like when it actually hits number 2 and she perishes?
I dust, just like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, just like nothing left. I just moved straight through.
So neither of the Slither Spines react, but as the beam sort of comes out and hits Rift Mage number 1, he looks over, to kind of meet eye contact with Rift Mage number 2, and just as that happens, she poofs into that dust and just sort of disappears, and you see the shock on his face as he realizes what he's actually gotten himself into, and you hear a little bit of yelp all the way from this corner over here from Rift Mage number 3, who's now hiding.
That being said, before you do anything else, Chelsea, you see Nalos, who is, I assume, wrapped by the ass end of this worm monster. Crystals jabbing. Yeah, crystals jabbing into his armor. He looks at you and says, "Get this off of me!" And I'm going to use my trigger, which is what I held my fast action for. If a hero hits a foe with an action, that hero's next fast action is a free action. However, the amplified effect being if the triggered action caused the foe to become fallen, that hero's next slow action is a free action. So your next slow is now a free.
Okay.
Nice. Oh, that's why that works. Okay.
That's awesome. Okay, well, then I'm going to just go ahead and light a little fire under their tushies. So Cathbad casts Wildfire.
Damn right you do.
Damn, Jesus Christ.
Cathbad, she's like raging after seeing it poof. She then like reaches her other hand out and she begins like whispering things. Her eyes roll into the back of her head, and fire begins to burn from their feet, singeing them upwards. Let's see if they take any damage from it.
Give me some damage there. Some damage.
Hang on, I gotta see if I did it. Okay, good.
Nice.
So now it's just rolling the damage. 9 points.
Nice. Very, very nice. So
and
this
I will
goes for...
sustain that one, and I will continue because I can sustain 2 can do that one and Moonbite. And I'm just like, oh, Cathman's off in like some other dimension with her brain.
Just to confirm, that's getting both Slither Spine 1 and 3, and then Rift Mage number 1. Is that correct?
Only when I sustain. So I'm gonna cast it on number 3.
Okay.
Next round, it'll hit the adjacent ones.
I'm just confirming.
Yeah,
All right,
correct. Cool. Sorry, I should have made myself clear on that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Nice.
That was a nice freaking turn. Good job.
Nice. Cap that MVP.
All right, guys, we're back to the top of the initiative order. So, are there any changes that need to happen right now?
Let me go first. I can probably get this. I think I have a good chance of getting this thing off Nalos if I go before him, since he only got one action this round anyways.
Can't we stack it so that you two go first? Can't we go Nalos and Talon? Yeah, let's do
that.
Talon and then Nalos and then drop.
All right. Yeah, that works. That should be totally workable. So
Red and Cathbat, are you guys staying in the same position between the grunts and the foes, or grunts?
Yeah,
and
that
the
seems to be working out all right. That way I can also heal people at the end of the round.
Guys, I will say that it doesn't matter when I go. The stacks, I automatically become free of this worm at the end of my turn. So whether you free me or not, I'm still paralyzed until the end of my turn.
Yeah, but I want to kill it and get it off you because it's literally much more dramatically appropriate.
Go nuts.
Save your ass.
Go and make it so, sir.
Exactly. So
is this when you fumble your roll?
Yeah.
Well, not exactly, because
you get that crit in that other system.
As I step in and kind of look over it now, and say, I think it likes you. I use Patience and Cunning, my new skill. My next melee action against target foe gains the auto hit property.
Oh,
very
nice.
However, I want to roll to see if I can penetrate, because I just realized we don't have a rule for that. I want more than auto hit. I want to see if I can actually do, because I would do Bone Shatter Blow, but I need to successfully penetrate. I'm going to hit no matter what. If the question is, do I penetrate or critically hit? So that's what I'm going to roll for.
Okay.
And I realize we actually need to make a ruling on that, because people just auto hit like, well, I want to do more than that because Bone Shatter does more power. So
it's perfectly fine. Just go ahead and roll it, and we'll just going to call it. You're going to hit regardless, right? So
and it's a crit.
Guess what? You crit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Darn! So, I wasted that crit. Oh well. So 5d10 plus 7 is 67. 1.5 is 90.
Listen, John.
Oh, sorry.
Let me stop you here and just say this.
Yeah.
Please describe to us what it's like when you free Nalos from the bonds of this thing's legs as you kill this thing.
Just you should know how much damage I actually did to this thing. So he says that to him.
Don't spoil the fun, Dad.
Gosh.
And then pretty much slashes down and cuts the thing in half, and the two sides fall, and of course the limb cage falls apart, and Nalos is free. It slices right down the middle of the thing, and it sits there for a minute and
the limbs just
gush of ichor. The limbs fall apart, the cage disintegrates, and he's free.
The limbs just peel back like this, Nalos, as the two parts kind of leave you just sort of standing there. And you see a shit-eating grin from Talon.
You're welcome.
It's about time.
I could have left you there. You are getting all cozy. That is my turn. Those are 2 slow actions. So that's
all right. Oh, guys, good job. So this my number 2 is down.
Again, the party is welcome.
Again. Let's see. Grunted foes. Sorry. It's actually Nalos' turn. My bad. It's Nalos' turn.
2 is dead, right?
2 is dead.
Okay. Man.
So man is right.
One action, huh?
No, you're because you are now free. I'm assuming that because of the way that effect worked, you are free from that prison. You didn't even have to make an action. You didn't even take an action.
Well, the paralyzation said lasts till the end of his round. So despite the fact that it's dead, he still only has the 1 action this turn.
See, I'm having a problem with that, but if that's the way we want to play the rule, all right, I'm good with the table making.
You are the storyteller, sir.
I don't care.
What does Nalos want to do?
He wants to do it all.
Then do it all. Use your full action pull.
Okay.
What is that? Is that a rock that number 1's hiding behind? Who joined the fight when I told him not to? Or a tree? It's a tree. Totally.
It's a tree.
Okay.
He's kind of using it, and he's ineffectively using it as a place to kind of dodge any range attacks which aren't coming at him yet. Oh shit! Okay.
I'm gonna assume that number 3 is not on 6 tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. So
right there. It's on. I moved it onto 4 tiles for you, so
I'm gonna
feels
move
better.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as my slow action, and I'm gonna be selfish because I told this guy to do something and he didn't do it. And so far, everyone else has done exactly what I've told them to do. And I'm gonna hit this guy.
Have they? Have they though?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
just
far
sure.
in this combat, all of my friends have done exactly what I told them to do. This guy, I thought he was going to be a friend, and then he turned out he wasn't. So I need to beat a 12. Come on.
All right. Well, hold on just a second. I need a clarification real quick. You can keep that roll. I just need a clarification real quick from John. There are no attacks of opportunity in the game. Is that correct?
Correct. That is correct, unless someone achieves a quote surprise round. But him entering next to him, no, there's nothing unless he has some sort of weird ability that allows him to, which I believe he does not.
He does not. I just want to be clear about that. All right, now let's talk to me about some damage for Rift Mage number 1.
12 points of damage. As I kind of run by this worm, plant the shield, hit the lance into that little cutout in the top of it, just sort of pool cue him in the chest behind this
is that sort of like a gladiator sort of move that he does in the movie?
Kind of. Yeah. The point is, he has, it's not a tower shield, right? But it's a big-ass shield, and he kind of, he's a one-person phalanx. But in it, there's a cutout so he can have the lance in there, so that way he can still attack while keeping a bulwark of defense for the people behind him.
And he takes
the pool cue reference, missed Rift Mage in the corner pocket.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yep.
All right. So he takes, the blade kind of slides, comes in and just kind of, glances into his, sort of side and sort of digs in a little bit, but not too much. And you start to see him bleed from just, on the left side of his belly. But he kind of counters and makes his own attack using a dazing bolt as he just kind of comes around with his staff and fires a bolt shot at you. I need a dodge.
In the face.
From me, you need a dodge.
Not the face. Not the face.
I fail it. Because I fail all my dodges. Roll.
That would be great. That would be really, really great. I would really appreciate it if you would fail your dodge, so at least I can do a little bit more damage to you.
Please roll.
No, I'll wait.
Yeah, you should wait. You definitely want to wait on this one, buddy. Because remember, you got a slither spine still in front of you.
I don't know, Red. That's a storyteller telling you to wait.
Okay,
I don't know.
Okay, cool.
That,
yeah, 11. I fail.
All right. And he hits you for a whole whopping 2 points of damage.
Man, I'm
Just a scratch.
Still above half health. I don't have your sweet heal thing, right, anymore, Catbad? You took that away?
The sweet heal thing?
The when I take damage, I heal a d6?
We learned that I was supposed to technically only be casting that on myself.
Hold on. I just realized. I'm sorry. I was reading the wrong thing. This is actually against your resistance, not your toughness.
Okay,
so I apologize. You take an extra 4 points of damage. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Oh, shucks.
That's like so much, man. I'm so sorry.
That almost sounded sincere, Johnny. I gotta give you credit for that one. Wow, I was impressed.
I've learned about false sincerity from other players, so I just want you to know.
You know what sucks, Johnny? I'm still above half health.
Mike, I don't have any sympathy for you right now, because that's when the Rift Mage again does for the second time, kind of moves his staff again and fires another one at you. Can I get a little bit of a dodge there?
That one hits again.
So so let's go ahead and talk about how about another 6 points of damage? I mean, I'm trying here. Did you finally go under?
Hold on, 30. That would be 28. 20. That would be 8. Is that what it is? No, that's 2. 26. 26. I am officially under half hit points.
Wow.
Whew, first time ever.
Savor the feeling, man. Savor the.
It's
a hard knock life. Yeah, it was fun to be a tactician.
Man, I'm gonna have to do something really intense here.
You want to attack me a third time?
All right. The slither spine moving forward as
yes.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It's Red's turn because the grunt, the Rift Mage did his thing. I apologize.
Right.
Red, your time to step up.
Since the other one's hitting himself behind the tree.
So the fog like dissipates as the first one dies, because that's only targets one foe, so I can't keep sustaining that. But I can cast magic now. So
Can you really?
Red uses one of the virtues he was taught in the monastery. He recites a verse from one of the sacred texts that the monks taught him. And as he chants this mantra and shakes his prayer beads, he's going to target Talon. And each roll result, you will get a plus or -2, whichever is better for you.
Sweet.
And then
Damn it, Red.
the other thing I will do is use imbue health on our good friend Nalos. So yeah, again, he like shifts and sort of makes these motions to shake and cause the beads to rattle and dance, and they give off that slight sheen, almost a glow, as Nalos heals for 12.
That was short-lived, huh?
Is that Red's all of Red's actions?
Yeah, that's what Red will do.
So as you're mumbling and muttering to yourself and calling incantations, the slither spine moves forward. Now,
Oh yeah.
would you say that Talon is adjacent to the slither spine?
Yes.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that, because as it does, it moves in and makes a basic lashing attack.
Oh, all right.
Now, guys, let's talk about the lashing attack for a second, because what it does is it deals 1d10 plus 10 damage versus your toughness, but it also does that to adjacent heroes.
Oh yeah.
So,
Wow. Yep.
everybody make me a dodge roll.
Okay, and I've got that plus thingy now, so hopefully I can get.
Well, only two of us are adjacent. Wouldn't it only be able to hit me and Cat?
No, all three of us are adjacent.
Adjacent to the bad guy.
Yeah, not me. It's adjacent to it. Nice roll.
So, Cathbad makes it. Nice roll.
Baby. Yes. With his -2, I make the dodge. Oh my God! Thank you, Red.
Red does not roll.
Oh wow! I'm sorry.
His eyes are closed. He's shaking beads. He doesn't even see it coming.
Yep. Whap! Oh.
So your toughness is what, a 4 there, buddy?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's see how this works out.
Ooh, jeez.
How about a whole whopping 15 points of damage as the lash sort of comes out? It comes sweeping across the field, and you see Cath. If you were to pan out, the camera pans out. Cathbad ducks, Red doesn't, and Talon ducks. All of a sudden, Red feels this slap across the face and takes 15 points of damage as the thing just kind of whips around and does it again. Everybody roll a dodge.
Red looks real bad, guys.
Crap solely.
I will use the outcrit.
No.
Well, actually, hold on. I have to stop this. I have to use so I'm going to use the blood seal. I'm going to stop this from happening.
Yeah, stop that one.
So Red is going to try to call upon the spiritual forces.
There we go, baby.
As his life force drains, but as it does, the creature sort of feels this unearthly tether pulling it back, keeping it from lashing out at us.
Excellent, because I believe both Kath and I missed our dodge rolls this time. So nicely done.
This is an excellent time to do that. Yep. Just out of curiosity, Red, what are your hit points at, buddy? Okay, thanks. Glad to hear it. Cathbad, This thing moves forward and lashes twice. You dodge one, and the second attack just sort of gets deflected as Red, reacting still with his eyes closed after getting hit, just kind of, uses Blood Seal, and the thing is unable to make its attack. What do you do?
Okay. After I make that first dodge and I see this go down, and I see that Red is not looking so dandy. Well, first off, he can go ahead and just take some damage. So let me just roll my sustained stuff.
Sure, that sounds lovely.
So the moon bite will hit the 2 remaining ones still sustained. So they can take 8 points, and then they can oops, I'm sorry, I should have rolled 2 of those. Let me roll another one. That would be 7 points go to that critter. Okay, so that would be the sustained ones. Now, I'm gonna have to drop one of those. Cathbad will drop Wildfire after the sustain takes effect and cast another spell. She's gonna cast Rejuvenation on Red, so go ahead and take some. Oh, really? Crap. Take 1 point of heal. Brilliant. Just brilliant. And so that was a fast action. I guess I could do it again. Doesn't say that I can't do it twice in a round.
That is correct. You can do it as many times as you have actions.
Let's do it again. So I won't sustain it, but I'll drop it and do it one more time for the sake of Red's.
Well, I'm trying.
All right.
And just to be clear, there's no modifiers to those rolls. They're just the rolls themselves.
They're
right?
just target heals 1d8 HP. Yep. That's all.
It sustains, right? So, like, theoretically, it could be turn after turn.
If I choose to sustain it. Yeah.
Right.
If I choose to sustain it, yeah. In this case, I didn't, so that I could roll the dice twice. Hey, other than that, I guess that was 2 fast actions. I mean, you know what? I've already dealt my damage. Let's do it again. Catbat is just like, heal.
You gotta warm it up. Come on.
Come on. Oh, my God. All right. And she's going to do it one more time, so that would be 4 fast actions this turn.
Wow.
To heal him with anything more than a 2, please. That would be 7 points total that you managed to heal. It's cool.
Out of a possible 32.
This is going well.
Wow. Yeah.
This is awesome.
Really well.
That's amazing. That's just.
And
damn.
I'll just plan to sustain Moonbite this round into next round.
Capital spell casting there. Yes.
Wow. Brilliance. Hey, Red, how you feeling with the whole 7 points sort of coursing through your veins?
Oh, probably better.
I mean, Red doesn't look so good. I mean, he's still like doing his like shifting and dodging. But I mean, he already always kind of looks like a little vagabondish, right? With like all of his like tattered robes, but it's a little worse than normal because he's been just getting beaten on. He's a little bloody and ragged at the moment.
Yeah, now he's dodging. We'd be like spray of blood here, spray of blood there. Exactly.
All right, guys, we're back at the top of the initiative order. Do we want to make any changes?
I'm good.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty good too.
All right. Talon, you are up, sir. Do it.
Yeah, let's see. Well, I just don't take the chance again. So we're gonna do the same patience and cunning and bone shatter blow combo just to be. Well, actually, no. You know what? No. Ooh, I can't do that. I am going to try cleave because I want to weaken this thing if I can. So yeah. So I do have to make a cap roll on this, and watch this one. It's gonna be. I have that +2, which is really gonna be handy. So. Hiya! And didn't even need it. But actually, if I lower it, it becomes a critical. So there we go. -2, so that's a crit now. Damn, that thing is handy. So let's see. It's first going to take 49 points of damage. Yeah, that's a slow. And then I'm going to amplify it, expending my second slow action to cause foe to suffer 8 stacks of vulnerability.
Okay, so let's be clear. That's 45 points of damage and 8 stacks of vulnerability.
49
points of damage.
No, wait. I'm sorry. 57. It's D12s, not D10s. 57 points of damage, piercing, and 8 stacks of vulnerability. That is correct.
Okay, 8 stacks.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Red.
All right. Well, it is barely standing. It is. There is like weird purple goo just sort of flowing out of this thing.
All over it. Yeah. It
is nasty. It is disgusting. It is the kind of thing that you do not want to get onto your clothes. The smell is so bad. It's not coming out.
Before my turn's over, Johnny, real quick, I wanted to yell at this guy down here, right here. I wanted to yell, "You stay right there. Don't make me hunt you down." And then I lashed out and slashed into this guy and all that stuff. So my sword is just totally coated in purple slither spine ichor. Like from the hilt to the tip, it's just like, marinated in it. And
that's the end of your turn, is that correct?
That is the end of my turn. Yes, indeed.
All right.
So barrier scores are now -8, so more damage. Yep.
Nalos, you've got a really sort of hurting really bad, rift mage sort of in front of you. That last moonbeam attack that came from Cathbad's sustained just looked like it drained this guy of life, and he looks really kind of, he's got bags under his eyes. The wound from his side is bleeding profusely, and he's just looking hurt, man. What are you going to do to this guy? What are you going to do?
I mean, part of me wants to just kill the guy, but he seems like a sad boy. So I'm not going to.
When has this ever stopped you before, Mike?
When I'm playing morally ambiguous characters. Usually when I'm playing bad guys, I kill them.
But you're a morally ambiguous character this time around, too.
Yeah, that's why it stopped me. Yeah, I'm morally ambiguous because I just don't outrightly kill people. He just pissed me off, so I stabbed him a few times.
He considers it and then doesn't kill them. That's how it works this time. There you go. So just go.
Look, there was a thing. I said, "Hey, throw your weapons down. We won't kill you. We won't be forced to kill you." And the guy was like, "I'm calling your bluff." So I stabbed him, and now he knows that I was not bluffing. And so I'm going to. I'm actually not going to. I'm going to completely ignore the rules of Emberwind, and I'm not going to use any of my moves, Johnny. I'm going to talk to this guy because that's what I do best. And he looks over his shoulder at the guy hiding behind the other tree, so he knows that he's there. And then he turns back to the guy who's currently bleeding out, ignoring the worm who looks like it's clearly on its last slither spine. And he sort of reaches over the shield and grabs this mage by whatever he's wearing. I assume a robe because it's a mage. And he just pulls him in towards the shield and up against the point of his lance. And he says, "What are you people doing here? Why are you attacking us?" And that's what I'm doing. You can call it for whatever role you want on that one.
But you could wait one round to start the interrogation. I see. Okay, all right, it's all good.
Give me an intimidate roll.
Sure. My intimidate is very low. Can I fight you for leadership?
Yes. If you can give me one more sentence of dialogue that actually implies or that actually conveys your leadership, I will totally take a leadership role if you can give me something really good.
Sure. Let's see here. Yeah, he grabs him and he says that threatening tone. He says, "I told you to stand down. All you had to do was let us pass. What would you be fighting for? That would you throw your life away? All you had to do was stop." And that's kind of what he says.
Roll it.
Let's see what happens here. I hope this succeeds. It succeeds by 1. No, it doesn't. It succeeds by a bunch. My leadership is 16. So 11 out of 16.
You tricked me, buddy. Anyways, he just, as you kind of pull him in, and he can feel the blade sort of, dipping into his, his flesh just a little bit. It's literally just the tip. As he just, he's kind of grabbing on, holding the shield, and he's just kind of holding himself back as you're pulling him in. And he looks at you through the slit inside of the shield, and he says, "I was following her. You should have asked her. You shouldn't have killed her. But now you're going to have to deal with me." And he just pushes back on you to try to get away from it. But you've literally got him right there, and he's just he's struggling, and you can see that the fight is sort of going out of him. And as the two of you are having this sort of struggle, this this moment of like nothing else on the battlefield is going for you. He looks at you and he says, we weren't even really, we were hired here. We were hired by the council. And he kind of pushes away from the shield and stumbles back into the ground. And he's just sitting there just in the ground bleeding as he's holding his staff.
So what does that imply for me? Hired by the council. What does that mean in a narrative sense?
Nice one, Mike. Nice one to slow down the entire combat into a crawl as we get into
There's one monster left. This guy, I'm gonna kill him in a second. Relax.
So what that means for you is that you don't actually know what's going on here, but if the council is hiring rift mages to actually accomplish some task at the edge of the Silver Glades, it means that they have some sort of nefarious plan, and that there is how should I put this without giving too much away? That there are plans within plans being enacted. And you don't know who on the council would have hired this, but there's clearly something more going on here. So there's probably something in the area that would indicate what they were actually doing here.
Right. So I assume Maddox doesn't know this is happening, which is inconvenient for Nalos and his family. And Nalos doesn't know what's going on here, which means that his family likely doesn't know what's going on here either. And so this is a problem. But the guy asked him to do him a favor, and so he's going to do him a favor. And I'm going to run him through with my polearm.
Yeah, you're just going to do it anyways. Even if you fail the roll, you're just going to do it. He's knocked prone on the ground.
I don't fail the roll, and in fact, I'm actually going to use just to double check here. I'm going to go ahead and use Decorated General, which is my passive once per combat ability, to make that a penetration. So, he takes 3d8 to the chest.
Well, I would, I'm sure one of us would have killed him even if you spared him.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Yeah, so the guy kind of falls back and he's like, finish me, and I just lean the shield forward and just and like so the blood splatters against the shield and he just lifts it off like I squished a bug. And then that's it. That's it for me. I assume talking is a slow action, so I will say that's 2 slow actions.
Fair enough. All right. The grunted foes are gone. That means Red, you're up.
That's true. No, you're right.
All right. Red is up. First thing I will do is imbue myself with some health. I sustain Virtue Fortune, so you keep that in tone, just so you know.
Sweet.
So that happens first.
Thank you, sir. It's been exceedingly helpful so far. I mean, I cannot even tell you.
All right. That helps immensely. And then I will give a try stabbing this big old beastie.
You could take him down. You can do it. You can do it, buddy. I think that should, yeah.
That is going to be enough to penetrate.
That's awesome.
Woohoo!
So yeah, let's see how we do here.
What's the minimum damage that you can do?
2.
Just tell me what happens when you kill this thing.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so he's pretty injured and hurt, and so due to his magic that we've seen in the past, he's got kind of this dark shroud hanging over him. And Red, unleashes a series of strikes with his spear. I think at first it seems like this creature may not be quite finished, and then Red sort of finishes it off by clapping his hands together with the spear between it, wrapped in the beads. It makes this, this strange clattering sound, and as it does, the puncture wounds, sort of the puncture wound finishes going all the way through, and you see the spurt of blood as this thing falls to the ground. And then Red will look over at number 3 and start walking towards that guy. Unless something else happens to stop the combat.
Okay, so combat officially ends here.
All right.
The slither spine in front of you, Red, just begins to it's the muscles and the skeletal structure and everything, just all of it, you see everything just sort of relax, and it begins to slide back down sort of the ramp and come off the ramp altogether, and roll onto the ground. As the three of you sort of begin that descent along the ramp there, Nalos in front of you, with his last breath, he coughs up a knot of blood. It just kind of he just kind of hops and hurls, and he's laying on his side, and it just kind of comes and goes you right in front of him as you're standing over him, your blade having just pierced his body for the last time. He's fumbling with his staff, but he can't even make a move. He can't even lift it. The strength from his body has just sort of left him.
So unless somebody stops him, Red is going to slowly but surely walk up to the third mage and just impale him with his spear.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Hold on.
No way.
Hold on a second. So as Nalos is noticing that with his last dying breath, the first mage, the one standing, the one in front of him as he's dying, barks out, "That's what I get for trusting bureaucrats." And he just falls over and dies. And you hear the one in the far side give a yelp and is cowering and comes out and just like, no, please, no, just let me go. I've got nothing to do with this.
Striding forth him, my blade still covered in ichor, and I just walk up to him and point the sword, surrender or die.
Sam, what is Red doing? You already declared that you were moving in.
Unless
and if he tries to attack him, I'm going to actually bat his spear aside. I'm actually going to physically stop Red from doing it.
Okay.
I do not want him to get the chance to.
I don't think Red would try to go through Talon. But when you stop him, if you get in his way,
which I will do,
he's going to be very confused.
Stand down. Trust me. I know what I'm doing.
You clearly you don't know what you're doing, Talon. I've summoned an aspect of vengeance. There's no defense. There's no wisdom, only vengeance.
Well, you need to take that vengeance somewhere else, because this guy's valuable to us, and he has information that I want to know. Take your vengeance on a tree, take it on a rock, but take it somewhere away from him, or you'll deal with me.
That's not how these things work.
I'm saying it's how it works. Now you stand down or you will face me. Your choice. You are not taking out on this guy right now. We need him alive.
Why?
You could take him.
I just told you he has information. Why were they out here? I want to know. Someone was put in our way to do something to the Silverglades. I want to know what it is and who's behind it. These guys aren't, I doubt they're here on their own.
While they bicker over the almost dead person, can I...
He's still perfectly alive.
Is
that's
this
the one I'm stopping. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
While you guys question this guy or try to figure out who's questioning the guy, is there because Cathbad's traveled through this area before, do I recognize anything out of place? Were they moving something? Is there just something that shouldn't be here that would hint at what they were doing?
You're definitely going to figure this out. Let me see. Why don't you give me a focus check, but at advantage?
Oh, I think I can do that. I think I'm good at this. Hang on.
I hope so.
I'm good at this. All right. Come on. Yeah. Made it. 12. Needed to be under 12.
All right. You definitely notice things that are completely off about this environment, right from the get-go, as you take in the scene, seeing the dead bodies around you of the rift mages, the two rift mages, or sorry, the one rift mage, because the other one just sort of magically vanished like a vampire.
Right.
It was like a sparkly thing, and the three bodies of the slither spines. You notice that there are interesting crates and barrels that are placed at strategic locations around the base of the loading platform and around the building off to the side over here, which and I'm pinging it on the map, which is the sort of the operating machinery for the sky elevator, for the lift.
Okay, I just like to do a further investigation while they continue this lovely role play. Continue, gentlemen.
So Red is just going to look at the mercenary and just say, "That's not how it works. You don't understand how it works."
Puts his sword on the ground with the tip pointing to the ground, rests his hand on it. Son, I understand more about killing than you'll ever know. Vengeance must be tempered with wisdom. You claim to be a monk who is wise. You claim to be a monk of the mind, and yet here you are reduced to a savage creature with your only light, your bloodlust. A true warrior tempers his abilities with justice, vision, and when possible, mercy. Now, why don't you go meditate on that while I take this man under my protection? And again, if you want to move against him, you come at me first. But if you do, you best not miss.
You can choose to show him your protection, Talon, and that makes you responsible for the actions that they take. The vengeance will find him eventually, for once the aspect is summoned, it does not go away. Don't pretend to lecture me about understanding these things. You don't know what you talk about. In their infinite wisdom, the gods can obtain as many aspects as are needed. They can show whatever face is needed in the moment.
You assume I believe in your gods. I wipe my blade on the rift mages.
It's not about belief.
Yes, it is. You get your powers from one thing. I sheathe my sword, get my power from something else. I turn to the mage.
You don't understand anything about the powers. It doesn't matter whether you believe in them or not. No more than it matters whether you believe that a rock will fall when you drop it.
I don't need to. I drop a rock and it falls. I see it. It is done. I turn and start binding the mage's hands behind his back. Relieve him of his staff, by the way, if he hasn't dropped it already.
I had not realized that you only believe in things that you can see. That's true foolishness. Red will just turn and walk away.
While this is happening, and Cathbad is, I assume, playing in the dirt.
Yes. Yeah, she's over there
Nice.
like tasting things, like looking around and slithering through the darkness. Yeah, she's kind of weird.
You're
It's
so
cool.
weird. He has grabbed the female mage who seemed to be leading these. He has grabbed her and dragged her over next to. She disappeared.
Didn't you ever watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Oh, she exploded.
Oh, I
exploded in
killed
dust.
her.
Oh,
She
right.
got
That's
dusted.
right. She got moon dusted.
She moon bit
That's
her.
right.
I'm moon
That's right.
dusted.
Yeah. Okay. So then, in that
Dust.
case, Nalus walks over to her pile of ash, like this is Skyrim, and he looks at it, intending to have done something, realizing he can't. He just sort of like, when you clean up the house and you don't have a dustpan, you just kind of kick the dirt like under the couch. He just sort of moves her dust pile like around so that it's not a visible dust pile anymore. And then he returns back to the other mage and begins like preparing him as best he can. Like he folds his arms over, like he closes up his robes, he covers the wound, he closes his eyes. And I will also pat him down, but he does sort of give him as much of a field burial as possible without actually performing any digging of that kind. But he prepares the body in a way.
All right.
So while you're doing this, do you search the body at all?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you find a pouch with 5 gold pieces.
Okay. He takes that and he just sort of like cuts it off the belt and then looks back to the argument that's happening and throws it towards Talon because he knows that Talon only does it for the money.
You also find a parchment, a rolled parchment, and when you open it up, it seems to indicate a location on the Celestial Plateau, where when when you read it's basically contains a location, and it implies that when the job is done, they're supposed to go there.
The Celestial Plateau is like where the rich people live, right? That's where the council sits.
You're very familiar with the Celestial Plateau because that's where the noble council and then basically all of the the uppity ups of
That's where I live.
are.
Cool. So he'll take that. I think he'll just pocket that. It doesn't seem relevant at this point of the day. We have shit to do. and someone will come looking for these guys.
Like, get where we're going.
Yeah, like we have shit to do, and someone's for sure gonna come looking for these guys. So he takes this, he sort of folds it into his shemagh, and then just stands and says to no one in particular, "These guys are from the council. Someone will be here for them. We need to hide them or take them with us, but we need to move."
Alan wants this one. He's his man now.
Fine, don't let it slow you down. Cathbad. And he kind of points to the corpse. "Can we do something with this? You know the area better than I do."
She kind of glares at you from afar.
Please don't say eat it. Please don't say eat it. Please don't say eat it.
This is over some kind of like bridge. Is there an edge?
There is totally an edge. You would know that. So as you can see on the far side of the map, there are 3 chains. Those chains are what, would connecting it to Gelspar. There's also the sort of the structure of the platform of the elevator or the lift as it takes you up. So yeah, the edge is right there.
Yeah.
They'll just fall off into the sky.
Cathbad just walks over, like, eyes on you the whole time, Nalos. Just like doesn't even blink. And she drags the body to the edge and tosses it off. Problem fixed.
Wow, I assumed like there was some kind of return to the earth ritual or something, but that was cold even for you.
She looks around at the group and says, "Have you all lost your minds?"
You're covered in vines and skulls.
And
I
hey, he
assumed
was
you
returned to
would
the
be-
earth. What's your problem?
I guess.
Just a long way down. All
They
right.
will not find them.
Exactly.
All right.
Now, did I find anything when I investigated these barrels?
You sure did.
Ooh.
It smelled kind of funny, so you decided to kind of pop it open. When you did, what you found was gunpowder and what looked like triggering mechanisms for blowing up these sort of these barrels of gunpowder. And along with that, when you went to the boxes, you were able to find a much smaller little device that appeared to be what would be called a black powder bomb. So it's a self-contained kind of thing. Would you like to know what that black powder bomb is actually, going to do for you if you use it?
Yeah, I do.
Sure. Okay. Hold on just a second. Let me pull it up.
Know that. Absolutely.
That's
it's got an area of effect of 3 squares. Any combatant adjacent to those 3 squares are going to take 4d6 damage.
Wow.
And it pierces, I believe.
Great.
And it's a fast action.
All right. Well, do I have a place to put this? I'm just going to put this in item. I think this qualifies as an item. Bomb.
So if you want to go ahead and look at the details of the item, it's actually listed on page 67 of the Skies of Axia.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. Nope. All right.
All right, so it looks like the only person who really hasn't accomplished anything as of yet, other than saving him, this third Rift Mage, is Talon. So Talon, you've got this guy now. Red has kind of walked away from you. What are you doing here?
So, like I said, I bound his wrists, took his staff. I pat him down real quick as well.
You find another 5 gold pieces.
All right. Well, this is turning out to be a very profitable venture so far. So as I do this, I am talking to him, by the way. So I said to him, "So look, mate, you know what I can do. But that guy," and I jerk my thumb back at Red. I'm keeping this quiet so they don't hear, so I'm far enough away. He's off his fucking twig. So you don't do what I say when I say. Right now, you're only under my protection. You don't do what I say when I say. The second I freaking say it, I'm going to turn you over to him, and it won't be pretty. And then that's about the time where I think that.
No! Don't do that! Don't do that! I don't want to die. I just want to go home. I just want to go see my family.
Okay. And then that's about the time I think that Nalos would say they're with the council or from the council, and I look up to him and say, "Is that true?"
Yeah. We're under contract. What happened to Alia? And he kind of looks over.
Alia's gone.
What? Where's her body?
I think it's that little pile over there he was kicking over. That dust pile, maybe? I'm not really sure.
And that
my
his
other friend,
eyes,
the one who wears the mask, she gets kind of antagonistic when people invade her home.
She's tasting gunpowder right now.
he's looking over and his eyes get wide. His eyes get really wide.
You thought you had interesting friends.
She's crazy.
So why were you sent here? I mean, what were you hired to do here? So it's me or them. So you better start talking.
Give me an intimidate roll. Let's find out how good you actually are in this particular case.
Okay, well, let's see. Off the one, but 13, and my intimidate's 6. My intimidate's 14.
Your intimidate's 14?
Yeah.
Nice.
I made the roll, yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
I get the crit, but oh well. They can't all be criticals.
All right. He kind of looks back at them, looks at you, looks over at Red as Red is walking a different direction, looks back at you, notices the Cathbad just sort of drag the body and drop it off the edge.
Uh-huh.
He looks back at you. He says, "Hey, we're here to take that out." And he kind of motions like this, and he motions towards the lift. He's like, those barrels, we're shutting down that. Nobody's supposed to be using it anyways. We were just told that this was going to be an easy job where nobody's going to be here, and we're just going to take out the lift.
Nobody gets hurt. I've heard that before. So take it out as in destroy it, as in disable it completely.
As in boom. Cathbad simply says, and she tosses gunpowder.
Wait, when she tosses it, does she toss it with some sort of explosive so that she tosses it over the top?
Sure, she snaps or something, and it causes it to just in the air.
You use some of that wildfire, just spark it.
Yeah, it just kind of sparks in the air.
I like it.
And at that, he's like, his eyes go wide again. Listen, look, we were just hired to take this out. I didn't know that there was going to be any trouble. I just started working with Alia. This is crazy. This is crazy. Listen, I just want to go home.
Did she? Do you know who hired her directly? Can you give me a name?
Look, I can't tell you.
So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what she said. Hey, Kath, come over here. I want to introduce you.
I hobble. I kind of creepy crawl over to him. And she says, "Why would you want to destroy such an important bridge?"
I was just hired to do this. Listen, I'm sorry.
Why would they? And I grab his face. Why would they?
And probably burn your forest down too, because that explosion is going to start a fire. It's going to go through this like that.
Oh.
And he looks up. He's like, "They've got all kinds of plans for the Glades and Gelspar. I don't know. I was outside of the room when they were talking. Alia was in there. All I know is I'm supposed to. I don't know who hired, but he motions towards his shirt pocket, inside of these robes. There's a shirt, and there's a pocket inside of the robe itself. He's like, it's in my pocket. I don't know.
You take that one. I'll grab his face still.
Yeah, and as you keep hold of his face.
As you pull it out, it unfurls, and it looks like some sort of a decree or a writ, sort of basically like a get out of jail free card kind of a thing, basically not to stop him. He gets free movement among the city. And at the top of it is a crest that you do not recognize because you are not from the city. But if Nalos was to walk up and kind of look over your shoulder at what's going on here, he would recognize it as Lady Makia's crest for her family.
Oh, I'd be asking him regardless. So
you said they have plans. Who are these voices behind doors?
I don't look. I don't know. Look, I was just hired. That's all I've had. That I was told to use that if any of the city guards stopped me. I don't know.
Guess what? We are not city guard.
And he looks over at Talon. He says, "What does that even mean?"
Well, it means whatever she wants it to mean at the moment. Hey, Nalis, get over here. Well, he likes to bossing people around so much. Let's see how he likes being on the receiving end.
Oh, let's see.
He walks over.
Okay, and I hand him the writ.
What is this?
I'm not familiar with it's apparently a pass through the sea, but I'm not familiar with the sigils of this place. Do you recognize that one at the top?
Yeah, it's the Makia family. Where'd you find
Excellent.
it?
I take it back from him, roll it up, and tuck it into my belt on this guy. He's coming with us. I'm going to turn him over to Maddox. I'm sure they'll have a delightful conversation.
Couldn't care less.
Good. Let's go.
All right.
He is
You're with
coming
me.
with us.
Oh, yeah. This guy's worth money. Big money. Absolutely. Intelligence?
Kath, if he survives.
Well,
And she just looks at the glades.
Talon actually kind of hides a little bit of a grin at that. Like, yes, I've heard the force can be very dangerous. Let's go. And so I have him. I'm holding him like by the his bound wrists basically, so he can't really go anywhere. And we are going to set a pretty grueling pace.
So as that last sort of exchange happens, you see that he begins to wet himself and shivers and begins to.
As I go back, I'm like scanning the forest. Like, this tree could work. That one's probably a little too big. I don't know. Kath, if I was going to tie him to a tree and leave him here for someone to collect, which tree should I tie him to?
Oh, tie him to no tree. Leave him for the underbrush to absorb.
Oh, well, I kind of need him alive for a little bit longer than this. So I guess he's going to come with us. Maybe, I tell you what, if Maddox doesn't want him, you can bring him back here and set him free in the glades and see if he can make his way out. That would be...
If Maddox doesn't want him, I'd like to see Red.
Yeah, you two can duke it out. I have a feeling Maddox is going to want to know what he knows. And I intend to make him pay dearly for the opportunity. Shall we?
Having the reminder of how dangerous the glades are and seeing the guy pee his pants, Nellos has a spark of invention. And he unfurls his shemagh off of his neck. And you can see, like, there are, like, beneath the plate armor, there are tattoos up and down both sides of his neck. And then he pulls out, like, a water skin and wets the entire shemagh and then wraps it back around and pulls it up over his face and tightens it. He says, yeah, we can go.
Can we potentially, I don't know, get rid of the explosive powder?
I mean,
I
would assume it works the same way as that corpse you threw off the edge.
I love throwing things from the edge.
I'm not surprised at all.
She begins just like rolling barrels off. I want to make sure that they can't come back and complete this and explode it from behind us.
Yep.
Okay. So as you throw them off one by one, you throw off all of these explosives. At some point, you hear in the far distance, below you, subtle booms. And they all just each one eventually, and as you're beginning to walk away towards the glades and towards your route towards the Port of Dreams, these are the last of the explosions sort of happen distantly.
To be clear, Garth, is that the only way off?
Correct. You mean back?
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. Thank you for the clarification. That's only a minor inconvenience. And he motions to the last barrel as you throw it off. The Makia family's loaded. They'll bring more, and if they don't hear back from these people, they'll bring it quickly. So I assume you either carry him or we move as fast as possible. If you want to keep a pet, Talon, you're in charge of it. And he starts making for the other side of wherever. Then he realizes he has no idea where he's going, and he looks back and says, Kath, could you... Where are we going?
Cathbad changes mask to her, and this one has horns, and it's much bigger and less combat oriented. And she says, well, home. And she steps into the glade.
So as you begin to go...
okay.
So as you begin to make your way towards sort of the edge of the glades, you see that there's a path that just kind of leads along the edge. Kath, you know that this path actually will lead you to the bridge that takes you from the Silver Glades to essentially the Port of Dreams. Or you can lead them into the Silver Glades. That is your choice.
Oh, I see. There's a way around the glade.
just on the peripheral, and you know that you'll have to avoid, because they are not affected, that they're going to have to avoid those small pools of miasma that are floating, sort of.
Right.
So it's a slow moving kind of a thing.
Question.
Go ahead.
The path probably is what obviously most people take. Is there a possibility that we'll meet people along this road? Is it well traveled?
No.
Okay.
For the most
as long as we're not
part,
going to bump into like this family or whatever, or anybody that kind of functions with them. So I'll keep them on the path.
Is the other way faster?
The path's probably fastest, right?
well, it is a indirect route. It kind of wraps around the sort of the island landmass that is the Silver Glades, but you could theoretically go through, and it might be slightly faster, but you never know where you're going to end up. Oh, wait, sorry. Cathbad would know where she'd end up. You never know where they'd end up.
And if they could survive whatever possibly is.
Exactly.
Okay. Our path is longer, but safer this way. And she kind of points to the beaten path.
Works for me.
This is your home. I'll follow your lead.
She left. She says, no, that is my home. And she points off the path.
Why don't we go that way then?
Keep up.
Yeah. She says, I am afraid you would be consumed by the glades. This is safer, especially if we are to drag along a
Pet.
Cash on the hoof.
she kind of like, and she says quickly and quietly.
You heard her.
Yeah, Red just nods and kind of turns on his heel, his spear held like high on his shoulder as usual. He's maybe a little uncharacteristically more surly than normal, but other than that,
Yeah.
Not the happy-go-lucky Red we're used to.
I think Nalos sidles up beside Red because Cathbat's leading this, and he sort of claps him on the back far harder than probably should be done for Red. And he just looks over and goes, "You could take him." And then he just keeps walking, and that's his only compassionate remark.
You guys the group winds their way along the the edge of the landmass, following the beaten path. Occasionally, I imagine Cathbad hears calls coming from the sort of the inland, and pauses and kind of turns her head just a little bit to listen in a little bit more closely, and continues moving forward. And every time that she does it, it's quite unnerving for the rest of you. But as you finally find your way sort of to the bridge that connects from the Silver Glades to another district, that which is a Windfall Harbor, you're given a moment's pause as you realize that the bridge is sort of also really not well kept. However, there are two city watch guards posted at the entrance to the bridge, and they nod to you as you move across slowly. Spanning to the other side, you find yourself entering the Port of Dreams. Located at the far eastern tip of Adriel, the Port of Dreams is one of the lesser marinas of Windfall Harbor. To get there, you have to go through the Red Market, a spawning bazaar in the middle of Windfall Harbor. So you get across and you find yourself there. The market takes its name from an enormous bolts of crimson cloth draped over the top of the district to shield the city from the sunlight during the day. The sun has yet to rise yet, and the crowds on the streets are still, between the stalls and the bazaar, are still, clogged. You smell amazing things coming from various vendors. You hear amazing sounds. You hear hawking of wares left and right. You smell the fermented, nasty smells of fermented milk and other things. And as you kind of move into the market, heading towards the location of where you were told to meet Hob, at a particular stall, Talon, a hooded figure bumps into you, and you get the distinct impression that your pocket has been picked.
Hey!
Not really, responding to that. person continues to sort of move forward as you realize that they are
Go after
good
him.
at their job. You felt the pull. You
Still
felt
hauling, still hauling the mage after me. I drag him with me and go after him, clearing people out of my path.
This person is this hooded figure just continues to sort of move through the crowd and clearly still very visible. Not really, thinking anything of it.
Increase speed to try and catch up with them before they disappear.
All right. So the rest of you, are you following him?
I'm like, wait, don't separate.
Then keep up.
Everyone's like, wait, no.
It's not where we're going.
Yeah, Nalos has no time for that. He continues following. Unless Cathbad stops, he follows her. I don't have time for a cut.
Do I know which direction they're going? I'm sure I've come to this market a few times.
You've come to this market many times when you need things that you cannot otherwise acquire in the clades. So yes.
Is this market? Is it? So we're all floating islands, right? They're all chained together. Is this a different
That's
floating
correct.
island?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Windfall Harbor is basically one large sort of, district where there are airships kind of moving in and out for various means.
Okay.
There are different sub parts of the district, and Port of Dreams is one of those parts of the district.
Okay, so this is a pretty well-traveled area. Like Nalos would probably have been here a good couple times.
Dallas, if Dallas was ever off, on any commercial venture for the house, then he definitely would have come out of here. Okay. If he was on a private yacht or a private airship, it probably would have come directly from the Celestial Plateau.
Sure.
And the household, each of them has their own sort of dock for their airship.
And I feel like this is the market he would shop at.
It would be one of the places where Nalus would go if he wanted to acquire things that were necessarily not more black market.
Or
rare.
In the Celestial Plateau. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Would I know the direction he's headed? Like where the pickpocket went to?
The pickpocket is heading Talon is being led in a direction towards more the food vendors, essentially.
Okay.
Various sort of food and drink sort of offerings.
Would I know, like if he leads them one way, would I know like a side alley that would cut them off?
Absolutely.
Like a faster way? I'm like, quick, this way, we can catch him.
Red is just gonna, he heard Nalus say cut purse, and he's just gonna say, I warned Talon. I summoned an aspect of vengeance. He sheltered and protected that man. It's terribly ill fortune. It's the way it goes.
Yeah, he lost his coin. That's his problem.
Yes, but he is our problem. And Cathbad bolts.
Shit.
Red turns and follows.
Actually, that was when Dallas says shit.
So this is, I don't know if this is too vague or not, and I don't know how these work. We've never actually brought our anchors into play, but one of my anchors is the Adriel underworld. Would I know anything about?
That's perfect.
About this situation, like where the local thieves hang out, or like what would make for that in this district, or who I would talk to about Windfall Harbor.
Oh, you would definitely know who to go and talk to. You would know that the Chasers are trying to insert themselves. Since they own Gelspar, they are trying to make moves into other districts, especially where there is a level of criminal element that is taking hold in any particular place. So the Crimson Market or the Red Market would be definitely a place where you would be able to contact them and other sort of maybe high class isn't the word. I'm probably more posh criminal elements. Very white collar crime versus blue collar crime in some ways, shapes, or forms.
Yeah.
You would also know that if you wanted to meet a member of the Grant family, this might be a place that you would want to go to.
Okay. In that case, once he sees Cathbad take off and he sees Red start to go after her, he kind of grabs Red by the back of his robes, and he kind of pulls him for a second. He says, "This is a trap," and then lets him go, and then he follows after Red.
Red turns and nods, like, "Yeah, that seems right." He's like, "So what would you suggest, Alice?"
I would suggest letting him go and get killed, and then we carry on our mission. But clearly, that's not what everyone else seems to be planning. So save his ass again.
All right, well, I mean, I don't know the way. I'm sure that if we follow the path, eventually I'll find myself to the right place. But I think it'll be faster if we find Cathbat.
Yeah, follow the screams.
You see her horns like bobbing through the crowd.
Yeah, he scans the look of like upper middle class people and he goes, yeah, follow the screams. She's terrifying.
Red starts following and he just like calls back over his shoulder. He's like, I'm telling you now, I warned Talon. Terribly ill fortune. It's his own fault he's going to get jumped and killed in an alley.
Yeah, he's not the smartest bulb in the box. The magical bulb box, that is. And he starts following the screams.
All right. So while the rest of you are doing this sort of, having this exchange, and then Cathbat is moving along into the crowd and you're following her, for Talon, the figure continues to move at a pace just to stay right in front of you, but seems otherwise oblivious to what you're doing. And as you're following them, they turn down a sort of between two stalls that leads into a back alley.
Damn it.
Behind the stalls. And so you make this turn left, and you find yourself behind the absolutely horrible smelling fermented milk stand.
Oh.
I mean, it is overwhelming as you find yourself towards the back, and there is a sort of a longer sort of alleyway between what appears to be two rows of stalls. And you kind of you first look right, you don't see anything, you don't see the person you're looking for, and then you look left and you see this person just sort of standing there, in the hood, just appearing to do something, maybe 10 feet away from you, down that alleyway.
Oh, you got 1 second to drop that purse, or you're gonna feel my axe in your face.
Person's still just kind of doing what they're doing. They're not making any move at all.
Are they near like crates or something, or near? Are they just near like the wall? What else is near them in this alley? Is just the wall and them and myself?
So there are just these sort of cloth backs to these stalls, and you can see that there are flaps leading into each side. But yeah, they're just right down this little alleyway between these two sets of stalls, basically a row of cloth all the way down, and they appear to be continuing to fiddle with something with their back towards you.
I jerk the mage down, sit, stay. I draw steel, and I go after him. I'm about to actually shove it in their back pretty hard, actually.
So as you
stab them, but they're going to feel the prick. Let's put it that way.
As you begin to move in, faster than you can even react, the figure turns, pirouettes away from your blade, and you find a blade at your neck. And as you look into the hood, you see the figure of the woman from the bridge, and she's got a blade against your neck. She says, "This is payment for that crystal your friend stole. Now leave me be."
Fuck you! I didn't steal it from you. Take it up with him. That's my money. My blade is still in your gullet.
You feel the prick.
You won't be able to kill me before I gut you, stem to stern woman.
You feel the prick.
Come around the corner now.
And I'm not giving an inch on this. I'm not lowering my blade or anything. You can stab me. I've got straight for one stab left. You stab me, you don't leave this alive. Drop the purse or I drop you. This is your last fucking warning.
And you feel the prick continue to move in. Do you want to feel the poison on this blade?
You're going to kill me in their throat anyway, so I might as well stab you before. I'll take you out before you kill me. Unless it's instantaneous, you're going down. And I start lifting up under her arm with the blade that's still there.
That's bad. Go, keep going. Keep going.
I'm still gonna do it. You can't, unless that thing can paralyze me. You're fucked. No, I'm ready to die. Are you? I've faced it many times in my life.
Cathbad, you, Red, and Nalos are turning the corner on the opposite side of this alleyway as you see that Talon is raising his blade as there is a figure, really close in with something pointed in at the vicinity of his throat.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to step in and go, have you both lost your minds? We are in a public place. You want gold? Have mine. And Cathbad will toss, give him his back. Like children, you fight over things that mean nothing.
Nellus with you? I actually ask her. I look over with the blade. I was like, is Nellus here?
Of course he is.
Ah, see, there. Take it up with him. Give me my fucking purse back.
He slowly walks around the corner.
And she looks at this woman and goes, and what is it that you are upset about?
And she drops the bag, turns to face you, and you realize it's the woman from the bridge that you all saved, and said, I'm just looking for payment for my brother. Remember? It was him, and she points to Nalos, and she says, it was him that took the shard that was going to save his life. So I figured I might as well come and find payment. And, this one is big and stupid, so I figured he'd be the easiest to grab.
If I recall correctly, you owed Nalos a turn for a turn. Good begets good.
Instead, she commits crimes trying to get back what she thinks she lost.
To be fair, bad begets bad, and Talon did deny the spirit of vengeance, so suppose.
Delayed, not denied.
Cathbad steps in this.
I'm not the one you seek, so get that needle.
Your brother's death
neck.
is not ours to pay back. Life's come and go, but the crystal that we took from you saved more than one life. Find your reason.
For how long? Gelspar is falling. Haven't you heard? The chains that attach it to the other lands, they're straining. At least I could have saved my brother. I could have saved one. And the blade hasn't left Talon's neck, even though he's just...
But isn't she looking at... She's looking at Cathbad right now, right?
She is.
But she still got it against his neck.
She's still got
if I step away, I have a good chance of getting out before she can actually do anything. So she's distracted talking to her about her brother. So
you feel the point of the blade as you kind of move back. You feel the point of the blade just move back with you. You're gonna have to make a quick move. You're gonna have to dodge basically to get out of this.
Oh, my dodge sucks. I guess I'll stay there.
She says that coin is not going to buy me his freedom.
I do not understand. You talk of saving lives, and yet you hold a blade to the life of another. Your words do not match your intent. Put your emotions and feelings for your brother to the side. Speak with us.
Do you have any family? Do you have any family left? Or are you lost to that madness that's all over your face and hands and your body? What is that? What are those armor? What are those pieces that you're wearing? They're
she
terrifying.
raises the mask to show her face, and she steps in really close, like the boogeyman. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
No, by all means.
So at that, she reacts a little bit, and for the first time, Talon, you feel the blade falter as she kind of steps back into you, looking at Cathbad's face, terrified.
You speak of things you do not know.
And I'll actually take her wrist so I can keep the blade away from me now.
Yeah, get some distance between you and it.
Yeah, I don't move. If she's back up against me, she's got nowhere to go because I'm not moving.
There.
I've already pissed her as it is.
More important things.
And I shudder too, but I kind of keep it within my armor.
And as Cathbad is continuing this interaction, you see the shock of her face and the blade that is in her hand that Talon has held, like her grip sort of fails and it just sort of falters and the blade sort of falls out and clatters on the ground.
Yeah, Cathbad go ahead.
She says, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
I sweep that blade away with my boot. Thank you very much.
She looks at Cathbad. I just want to go. Just let me go.
Go where? Home?
I don't know. I've got to find some way to save my brother, but it's not going to be here.
I've already told you how to save your brother.
What is it they require for your brother's safety?
Payment or blood. Either one of them can be achieved with that coin. Either use it or give it back and die.
How do I use it?
find the family it belongs to. Do you recognize the symbol on the back of it?
Yes.
Then you know where to go. It's not here. And he points. I assume we can see the rest of the islands. And he points.
You can see the Celestial Plateau, yeah.
He points to the Celestial Plateau. Show it to anyone. It'll buy you passage wherever you're going.
Okay. And she slowly steps away from Talon and tries to pull her hand away from his, her wrist away from his hand.
He squeezes it exceedingly hard. You ever draw steel on me again, it will be the last thing you ever do. And you look into my eyes and you tell me if I'm lying.
She looks back at him. And she looks back at Nalos. And she says, if I can't save my brother, will this, and she holds it up, kill him? And she smiles.
Cathbad smiles too.
You can return that to me and I'll do it after I'm done.
I wouldn't worry so much. At the rate he makes friends, he may end up dead on his own rather soon.
Looks at Nalos. You stabbed me in a dream. You better wake up and apologize.
Cathbad simply says, he saved your life once. I saved your life this time. We will not do it again. Remember, you are not the only person that has lost family. You are not the only person who suffers and fears for the lives of their loved ones. Stop interfering. Now go.
And she looks at you. And she looks back at Talon. She looks back at you, Cathbad. She says, okay. And she yanks really hard as you're gripping her wrist, Talon, and works free.
Let it go. Yeah, she's got to work at it, exactly. I want her to remember that.
She works at it and lets it go. And she has to jerk and sort of, bump. And as she does, she bumps into Cathbad for just a second, and she kind of recoils back and then dances around the rest of you as she runs down towards runs down the alleyway of the stall. And as she does that, Cathbad, you notice that there is a pouch that has fallen off of her person. And when you pick it up, you find two interesting things inside of it. The first is you find a wedge of cheese.
Okay.
It smells incredibly pungent and terrible.
That's okay.
And the next thing that you find in there is an incredibly smaller pouch inside containing some sort of crystalline powder in there.
Is it Chris? Is it like powdered version of the crystals used here?
It's meth.
You suspect that it is something like that.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I keep the powder. I could give a shit less about the cheese. I toss that like over my shoulder to them, just like.
Red will take the cheese. Red catches it and like tucks it in his robes.
Yeah, smelly cheese. Yeah, she's like, and kind of tosses it. Yeah.
Okay, so just FYI, guys, page 69 for the what those items are, if you want, in Skies of Axia. Okay, and so she kind of twirls, she pirouettes around Cathbad, finally makes her way past Red, and is making her way past Nalos.
So Nalos reaches out kind of quickly, but like not aggressively like Talon did, and he just sort of grabs her around the wrist, and he leans in just close to her, not loud enough that anyone else can hear, and his other hand goes to his shemagh again, and he pulls it down, and you can see the marks on him, and he says, "If I see you again, and you don't have one of these," and he pulls it so you can see so that she can see the tattoos, then you won't have to worry about any of them, and your line will be done. You and your brother. Now go, little spider. And he shoves her out of the alleyway.
And with that, that's where we're going to end it.
Nice.
Everyone's like, I hate people. I Why did I do this? I should have gone back to my treehouse.
Actually, Johnny, I have one more action I want to do before we stop.
Okay, go for it.
Because I assume my Rift Mage is still sat where I told him to sit throughout this entire conversation, right?
He totally ran away.
Now if he knows what's good for him.
Our hostage, you mean?
So the last thing before you guys look around, I grab his wrist, up, get him up, and start heading back through the market. Yep.
Okay.
Fantastic, guys. That being said, this was episode 5 of Unsung. A whole can of worms. A new can of worms. A whole new can of worms.
The whole can is next because we just popped it open.
Yeah,
so
2 cans
possibly
of worms.
Oh my god.
A 2 cans of worms.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you guys for being here. This was a super fun time. Let's go around, introduce our cast and crew, and we will get the heck out of here and go host a friend of ours. We'll start with John. John, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Hey folks, John Helfers, Radio Johnny Panda here. I had a blast this time. This was awesome, both the combat and the RP. This was tremendous. The group, our little dysfunctional band, is coming together. We're splitting apart. I'm not sure which, but it's a riot. You can find me here every Tuesday for the time being under the wise storytelling auspices of Johnny and the rest of the group. I also game with Arvin Elrond on his channel. We do we're doing Crystal Straw D&D every other Saturday, and I also just started my own Axia version, which I'm running every other Thursday, so twice a month too. So yeah, Stream City, baby. That's me though.
Fantastic. Let's jump right over to Dot. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
I am the Little Red Dot. You can find me online as the Little Red Dot in pretty much all the places, the Twitches and the Twitters. I officially can say that I am a full-time streamer and tabletop content creator, at least for now. So it's kind of scary. That started literally yesterday, and which I chose to sleep instead of write things because God, I'm tired. Yeah, you can check me out on my channel where I mostly focus on roleplay and storytelling, whether that is indie games that I play with awesome people across the internet or video gaming and writing of tabletop stuff. Lots of things going on. You can catch me at the North by Northwest podcast if you like Dungeons & Dragons. You can also check me out on Thursday nights on Pro Restarter's channel. I am currently in my own homebrew campaign called The Little Things, where we're following a very eclectic group of adolescents through the world of Faerun and what does it look like to be a baby adventurer, basically. So it's been a ton of fun. And then on Saturdays, you can check me out on the Roll For It Network, my home away from home, where I'm in an intense Vampire the Masquerade campaign. It is like stupid intense. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm up to. And I'm excited, hopefully, maybe this time next week to be announcing a whole slew of brand new things that'll be coming since I've got the time. Yeah.
Nice. With that, we'll jump right over to Sam. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to, my dude?
I'm Sam, twitch.tv/WizenFool, Twitter at DWizenFool. I keep promising that I'm going to have something to announce, and I finally moved into this new place and got this new job starting. So I really am going to have some more stuff. Until then, you're just going to have to come watch me here, where I will play this strange and eclectic spiritualist Red, whose motivations are sometimes a little bit hard to ascertain. But he really does have a core set of beliefs and values. It is there. It's just a little bit hard to...
thinking that Red and Cathbad need to have a spiritual conversation.
It does need to happen.
What their tea conversation would be.
I mean, I don't know. So we may... It may be worth talking about this off stream, but if you notice, Red... acts with a little bit more deference to Catbad than he acts with the other people, and that is not on accident. So we may have a chance to go into that at some point.
We'll just stream an offline session with just the two of you, and then we'll put that.
It's like morning coffee chat, really.
Yeah.
We should have like a Saturday morning show.
Yep.
Catbad and Red.
Perfect. We'll throw that right out on the Patreon. That being said, last and always least, Johnny, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to, man?
I'm Johnny, the Video Store Cowboy, tabletop streamer with a side of variety. I'm right in the middle of my 28 days of streaming. This is day 5, guys. So thanks for being a part of that. You can also find me over on Arvin Elrond's channel for a couple of different things. The Clay That Woke should be starting this Thursday. That is if all the scheduling gods work out correctly. You'll also find me over on his Esper Genesis show, which is twice a month, sometimes, I guess. And other than that, that's about it.
Sweet. Guys, speaking of 28 Days of RPGs, go on Twitter and check out hashtag 28 Days of RPGs. It's a pretty cool thing that I started last year, doing it again this year. It's a full printout of all the kind of fun things you can do every day of the month for your favorite RPGs. I think it's dope. Go check out our Patreon if you guys want to support the show and help us get more dope shit happening here. And last but not least, let's go raid our friend Encounter Roleplay. Those guys are playing some of the World Tree Burns, a Midgard campaign. So yeah, give them all of your hot sticky raid love. And from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.